Welcome back to Under Construction. I'm Zaina Solaja, and I'm so excited to be recording today because it's been a minute. Excuse how I look. I had to make sure I worked out before this video. But I took a little bit of time off from posting my episodes, but it wasn't intentional. The time off happened mainly due to the fact that I just had 1,000 tabs open in my brain. And at work, I'm managing the interior scope at the airport. So there's a lot happening as we push to complete phase 2 and turn over the gates that we have back to Delta by the end of August, which is literally right around the corner. It was also my last week of summer semester, and I needed to complete the last section of homework, take test 4, and also take a final exam. So if you're in school, you already know the hustle and the time that is put into making sure you get your schoolwork done. Then there's projects around the house that we needed to finish, and on top of getting ready for our 1 year home ownership barbecue this Saturday, it's a lot going on, and I really needed to just step back and regroup. It's so busy around here. So again, the time away from posting was not intentional, but I am very happy to be back, to be recording, to be in this space. It feels good to just get back to my diary. What's wild though is how aligned this video is with my 30-day challenge that I started with some friends about a week ago. We committed to posting every day for 30 days, or the consequence is that we pay a fine to each other. And listen, I'm definitely not giving up my money. So you better believe I'm locked in. I'm definitely in it to win it. That's why I say, excuse my look, I look a little crazy. But that's because I did have to work out before recording this video. Because if I didn't, the video wasn't going to happen. So my part of the challenge is Operation Get Abs with Fibroids. Yes, with fibroids. Is it delusional? 1000%. But what is life without just a little bit of delusion? Delusion keeps some people motivated, especially if it's functional. July is Fibroid Awareness Month, and what better way to honor my body than trying something that makes zero sense scientifically, but still feels like a little bit of hope. And the truth is, it's not about the abs for real, although the abs would be great, obviously, but it's really about building a stronger core, reducing bloating and inflammation that I deal with, um, seeing what my body can do even with fibroids. And it's also about just feeling damn good about finishing something that I started and seeing the outcome of that. Because I realized I can't get to the outcome when I stop halfway through, right? I've been working out on and off probably since 2012. I was 22, and I can only recall one time where I've truly have had abs, and I'm 35 now, so there's not an ab muscle in sight. But regardless of that, this challenge is helping me to build a habit that could one day lead me to a stronger core and even visible abs. So right now, it just feels good to show up, move my body, watch my triggers, and just stay consistent and also document it, even if the only abs I see are the ones I screenshot. Will I get abs? Maybe. Will I get stronger? Absolutely. Will this approach even work? I don't know. Who knows? But it's keeping me accountable, it's keeping my friends accountable, and it also just feels good to raise awareness around fibroids, which might, help benefit someone else that might feel alone on their own journey dealing with fibroids. So today is day 8 of 30, and the delusion behind Operations Get Abs is still fully intact because what I want to see is just how far better habits can take me. So let's get into this episode. It is called Unpermitted Work. So, someone once told me, you are the greatest project you'll ever work on. And for me, that phrase creeps back into my thoughts every now and then, especially when I'm feeling stuck. And when I do feel stuck, I try to take some time away from whatever it is that I'm doing to regroup. So, just like you would with any project, right? Anything that you're doing when you are feeling like you're not moving anywhere or making any traction, like it's always important to just step back and regroup. And one thing I admire about myself is that I give myself permission to restart, reset, and refocus as many times as I need. And as someone who is healing from fibroids while staying committed to the promises that I made to myself, I truly believe that regrouping is just a part of honoring those promises that we often make to ourselves. And since it's Fibroid Awareness Month, it feels right to talk about what it really means to navigate this type of adversity in life, um, for dealing with something that I didn't ask for, the people that I know dealing with fibroids didn't ask for. And this is what I consider unpermitted work. In construction, we all know what permits are for, right? Permits are for protection. They're meant to keep the public safe, to meet safety codes and building standards. But the most dangerous kind of work is the work done without a permit. Work that isn't approved, not managed or supervised. It's the type of work no one is accountable for, right? The foundation might look good at first until something shifts, something cracks, or the structure starts reacting to what was built without proper oversight. And personally, I think that our bodies are the same way. So I want to talk about something that none of us ever asks for, something that often shows up when we're not overseeing or managing what's affecting the very foundation of what we're trying to build, and that is fibroids. Fibroids are non cancerous tumors that grow in and around the uterus. They can range in size from something as small as a seed to the size of a melon. And up to 80% of women will have fibroids by the age of 50. And that number is absolutely insane. Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with fibroids, and often at younger ages with larger and more numerous fibroids. And honestly, too often doctors still don't give preventative options. The only option offered is typically surgery, birth control, or hormonal meds. All of these options don't prevent fibroids. And for me, fibroids have been the unauthorized work in my body that I've gone through many, many ups and downs in different cycles with, and a lot of trial and error just to manage them and try to dissolve them on my own. It's crazy because fibroids just feel like they move in like badass tenants, and they take so much from you. Fibroids have taken my energy. In the past, I've felt like it has taken my confidence, my peace of mind, even the ability to see real change in my core from training, from working out. And something as simple as just laying down on my stomach comfortably without feeling some type of hard knot. And I remember the first time I knew something was off. It was 2018. I was 28, in the middle of a very nasty divorce. And I was at a wax appointment, and the wax specialist felt a knot on my stomach, and I already knew what it was. I've known about fibroids since I was 16 years old. Um, my mom had them so badly, she had to have a hysterectomy in her 40s. And I can't even fathom being 40 and having to get a hysterectomy, but she had 65 fibroids. And at 16, I promised myself I do everything in my control to prevent fibroids, because 65 fibroids is crazy. But I didn't know how much stress actually contributed to the growth of fibroids. I got married young. I carried high level stress. And as a woman, we store pain in our wombs. My body stopped feeling like mine at one point. I was always bloated. I could feel the knots from how hard my stomach felt. The bleeding was longer and heavier than usual. I was always exhausted. The pain during my cycles were unbearable. And I didn't trust doctors. They would tell me that's just how periods can be. They would tell me that I need to get on birth control. They would say that I need to have surgery, come back if it gets worse. And they just treated my experience or my trauma with fibroids as just like some normal period. And I was tired of being dismissed by people who have never bled for 10 days straight and still had to get up and go to work every day. You know, I sat across from doctors who told me to come back when I wanted to have kids, as if fertility was the only reason to care about my wound and what was going on, as if pain and fatigue and heavy bleeding and bloating so bad that I couldn't even button my pants weren't reason enough. But here's the thing I've learned in my profession. So, in construction, if something is built without approval, it gets torn down, it gets demoed. Doesn't matter how pretty it looks or how long it's been there. If it wasn't meant to be there, it threatens the whole entire build. And that's what I feel like fibroids are. They are unpermitted work. It's overgrowth. It's hormonal chaos. It's inflammation screaming through my foundation that I've worked so damn hard to build. So I started years of demoing from the inside out, from detoxing, to saying no as best as I could, removing stress, changing what I eat to the best of my ability, right? I've been working on demoing what I consume, who I let into my life, and it has not been easy. It has not been easy, especially going through fibroids since 2018. And it's been a lot of trial and error, but I know I am the greatest project that I will ever work on, and this work never stops. I'm not rebuilding on damaged frame. I'm not covering up, pain with some glossy paint. I want to gut all this shit out, and become the strongest, healthiest, most healed version of myself. And if you're listening, if something feels off in your body, please don't wait. Get checked out, push back, ask again, ask louder, ask someone else, get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion, because this pain isn't just a part of being a woman. And fibroids setting up shop in my body is just not permitted. And I'm going to continue to do everything that I can in my power to dissolve fibroids. And if it means having to walk around with delusion, expecting to have abs on top of a fibroid belly, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, it could be possible and it could not be possible. I may never see abs. I don't know. But all I'm going to do for right now is try and keep showing up, keep moving my body, complete this 30-day challenge, and give my best to be my best. That's all I can do. This is under construction, just like every aspect of my life, where the rebuild is very real and the demo is a necessary part of my process. So if you're here listening or watching, thank you for clearing space with me for your own healing too, because unpermitted work has no place in our masterpiece. Please subscribe and share with someone who might need this. And I'll see you next time.